In this section, we're gonna have 4 services. Each of them is right here presented. When you hover, you see it gives you the sensation like it's coming to your eyes. Here we have this icon car, we have the description where the title is carousel, and here you can see what the service is all about, the customization, the exchange assistant. We have this background right here that is a mix of a linear gradient from top to the bottom right, where we have a green right here, a Range Rover Velar on the back part, and we have some gray, some blue color right here. Without further ado, let's open our code and our project. Here is where we left in the racing by nature. So I'm gonna just be giving F5 to reload the icons, and here I do have. So let's start with the section. So this section, as we know, is gonna be section services. Nice. And I'm actually gonna give the row class because of the width that I wanna keep. I'm simply gonna copy this text here, which is centralized and all stuff, paste here, change the content to be our services. Let's save, go and check how it looks right now. Very good. Well, we're gonna have simply one row, as you can see, and we're gonna have 4 columns. So let's start making that happen. After our div, we're gonna group all of that inside of a div also, and let's give this time a class. This is gonna be the container of all the contents of our rows. So we can say section services content, and we're gonna have also here the services boxes. So services boxes. Next we're gonna have our row, and we have first the column 1 of 4. Nice. Each of that is gonna be a service box, so I'm gonna say service box, and we can start building. The first thing that we have is the icon. So this is the icon. The class is gonna be service box, the variant is icon, and this one is FAL font awesome car. This is the class of the car icon that we want. Next we're gonna have a paragraph, and the class is gonna be service box. This one is simply the title, and I can put carousel. Finally, we're gonna have our paragraph, which has the service box description. Copy all this text because it's the same, and I'm gonna simply paste right here. Here we have developed our first card. The next one is simply a copy, so I'm gonna copy this, paste right here, and change. Instead of being carousel, I'm just going to have a customization, and the icon is that one of tools, kind of gear like that. And let me put the text customized to make it feel as desired. You can change the text if you feel like it's not what you really want to have. So I'm gonna say Control V. Here I'm gonna select all of this and remove. I'm actually gonna give more space right here. I have the third one, which is gonna be for the exchange service. I'm going to say exchange, and the description is this one, so Control C, okay, Control V, very good. And finally I'm gonna have this 24/7 assistant. But before, let me change this, because it's not tools, actually it's exchange. Simply select this, duplicate, and put here the new class, which is road. (24/7) Nice. We have developed the basic HTML structure for this content, so the next thing that we have to do is focus on our CSS. Let's see how it looks in our page right now. Here we have, it's kind of what we have here, and you can see that the columns are all already divided. That's because we are using our classes that have been formatted with the widths when we have defined the grid. So we can simply create our element, which is gonna be a service box. Later on you may reuse it if you feel necessary. So in components, I'm gonna create a service box as CSS. Let's go to our main file and place our service box. The service box is right after the model, but you don't necessarily have to import it in the same order. But if you want, make that service box and save. I'm gonna actually put this right here, because on the left side I like to have my index file so that we know what we are formatting. Okay, here we're gonna start with the simply formatting of our service box, each of it, because we wanna give some padding, centralize the text, have a background color which is white, change the font size and much stuff. So we can start right here saying our service box is here, and we're gonna simply start with the padding in all the sides, 2.5 rem. Let's save and see how it looks like. My terminal is here. I'm gonna actually refresh by myself, and here I can see some padding. Next, I'm gonna increase the font size to have 1.5 rem. I'm gonna have a color which is color blue. Let me save, align the text to the center, and see how it looks right now. Okay, things are getting better and better. Next, what we can do is simply have that background on all our container so that we can easily detect what is the background, where is each of these items, and make it easier to format. To make that, let's simply go to our home file and target our section services. Here we are going to put that background inside of this content right here, because we don't want to make the entire section with the H2 our services have that Range Rover Velar background, what we're going to do is simply say content and give that background. This background is actually gonna be an image, so I'm gonna say background image. I have a first to introduce the linear gradient, which goes to right bottom. I'm gonna insert the color RGBA. The first color is gonna be green with 80% of transparency. The next color is gonna be RGBA blue. The transparency is gonna be the same, and I'm gonna have my image, which is the Range Rover. So the Range Rover is located at this level. You have to go back one more time, get inside of your image folder, home folder. It's inside of services, and is this Velar. Let's save and see how it looks like. Windows 3. Let me refresh. I actually don't have it right here, so let me make sure that I have the section services well targeted. Here also I have the section services. Inside I have the section services content, which is this one. Okay, this is targeted, so let's make sure that we can find our image right here. Let's inspect it. In all our container services row, here in content. Okay, well, background image, this one is not being applied, but let's simply control click here to see if we have the Velar, and here we have. So you must make sure to have this style being applied. As you can see here, this is simply giving us invalid property value. That means we didn't write this as it should be. Let's inspect. Here we have background image, here we have linear gradient. This is to right bottom, right, that's correct. Then we have RGBA color green, RGBA color blue. We have the URL which goes to this image. Okay, so what could be the problem right here? So you must first give the RGBA and so on properties, then followed by this linear gradient all. We're gonna place our URL. Let's save and see if this solves our problem. Very good. Okay, here we can see everything going very well, so let's make sure that we add some padding on top and bottom to our section. So we can come here and add that padding. This padding is gonna be top and bottom 150 pixels. It's okay. Left and right, nothing. Let's save. And yes, now it's much better. This Range Rover Velar is not on the right place. So let's make sure that the background position is well defined here. Background position, this one must be centered, and we're gonna make the background size to cover all the space. Saving it, going and check. Now it's much better, and you can see this is what we really want. Give a background to each of the service box. I'm actually gonna give a color white. After that color, we're gonna give a border radius, and the radius is gonna be the same, so border radius small. Next we can give some shadow, so box shadow, and I'm gonna see 0, 1.5 RAM, 3.8 RAM, RGB A, the color is black, and the transparency I'm gonna leave some 15%. Let me save and check. Okay, very good. It's starting to get the shape that we want. So let's go. We can actually see that these boxes are not really starting from here, so we can simply give a padding, and we have here to give the padding at the section services box, which has this row. If we target only by saying the section services, give that padding, what's going to happen is that we're going to be giving the padding also to this our services, while we simply want to target this row. So what we can do is simply come here and say services box, all that is services box, which is this one. We have the services box in our section. But how we want to make it much easier, let's use this selector, because we just want to find this row and say boxes, and what's inside of it, and is a row. We're gonna actually give a padding top and bottom of 0, and we can put the 80 RAM. 8 RAM is 880 pixels. Let's see how it looks right now. It's where it should be. Very good. Let's move to the next lesson, where we're gonna finish with this formatting.